Is it really worth it? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. So apparently, I'm probably the last one to make a video about this. A lot of people already made the videos. A lot of people have already talked about it. It is Joanna Wilson, I believe is her name, and she passed away at the USA Championships this past weekend. Now, all I've been able to find is a lot of speculation as to what it is. Nothing's set in stone. You know, people are talking about she had a guru who told her what to do. Somebody told her to take diuretics. Somebody pumped her full of diuretics. And that's pretty much like the general consensus of what people think it is. That's not necessarily what happened. I don't know for a fact, but that's the speculation. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen it. I mean, it's not like it happens often, but it's fairly common for competitors to cramp up at the shows. And, you know, Mohammed Benaziza, I believe, passed away in like 2000 or in the late 90s or something like that. And we had, you know, Paul Dillette cramp up on stage. And, you know, my take on it is a little bit different than everybody else's, of course. And I can't speak for Joanna because I didn't know her at all. I don't even really know what happened to her. But I can speak for someone, or speak on someone rather, named Anthony DeRezzo. Now, I've spoken about him before in the past. He was from Rhode Island, and he actually died at the Masters Nationals. If any of you have seen the Raising the Bar trilogy, I believe it was in Raising the Bar 3, where Dave goes to Masters Nationals to try to win his pro card, and Anthony actually dies there. Now, Anthony, I met when I was about 19 years old, or about 18 years old. I was competing. And when I was 19, I was going to my final year as a competitor in the teenage division. So I went to him for my diet. He was such a nice guy. He was the most massive guy around. He was 300 pounds. He used to hang around with Dave Palumbo, Matt Duvall. The three of them walking around looked like the Three Stooges. They were just all jacked up, 300-pounders, lean. And Anthony had been competing for quite a few years. He had I believe it was a hip replacement, tore his tricep. I mean, he had many injuries, but he was a big guy, like 260 in shape. And all Anthony cared about was bodybuilding. That's it. I mean, he had let everything else fall by the wayside his entire life. Bodybuilding was his thing. He wanted to be known as a pro bodybuilder. That's all he wanted. He actually had some pictures in Iron Man when they put out a book, not a magazine, an actual book, like an instructional book, and he had pictures in there. He was so happy about that because he was immortalized as something that would be bigger than just a little magazine thing. He was so happy about that. He had cardiomyopathy. So he had a problem with his heart, and the doctors told him not to fuck around. And he decided he was going to compete one last time to try to get that pro card at Masters Nationals. And he dieted down, and this was after I moved down to Maryland. He dieted down. Everybody said, you know, he was poised to take that spot and earn his pro card finally at 42 years old, I believe it was. And he died in the hotel room before he even got on stage. Now, what you guys have to understand is Anthony lived, breathed, loved bodybuilding. Like, it didn't matter, like, he wasn't a human being, he wasn't a man, he wasn't a guy, he was a bodybuilder. That's what he was. He was all about it. And the people that knew him best, and the people that were around him, you know, a lot of people are sad about it, but you guys don't understand, Anthony died doing exactly what he loved. He couldn't die in a hospital bed an old man. It just wasn't going to happen. He literally went out his own way. I can guarantee you, you know, whatever happens after you die, afterlife, whatever the case may be, he's happy about the way it went down, and he's looking down going, you know, I gave it my all, honestly. And when somebody does something like that, that's their decision to do that. This girl, Joanna Wilson, it was her decision to push things. There was a definite difference between when there was before and after pictures, but apparently when she started taking drugs or started taking large amounts of drugs, she knew what she was doing. She was transforming her body at a rapid rate. You could see the changes. She knew she was taking substances that could hurt her, and she just didn't want to be the average woman. She didn't want to be the average Joe. She didn't want to be normal. You know, not many people do when they do this sport, but they literally will take it to the end to be what they want to be. And at that point, you know, like, I look at this girl and I say, you know, she had kids and all this stuff. Anthony didn't have that. Anthony didn't have any kids. He had a girlfriend that he was going to marry, that everything was going great. But even she's like, Anthony went on his own terms, period. And everybody actually respects that. And I actually respect, you know, I'm not saying it's a great thing that Mohammed Benaziza died, but that was his whole life. That was his thing. You know, like Paul Dillette, when he cramped up on stage, he carried him off. Guess what? Paul Dillette fucking quit bodybuilding, went on to do something else. It was just, he moved on, you know. So some of the guys are lucky and some are not. I remember a girl at the East Coast Championships, probably in 2010, I believe it was, somewhere around there. She fucking went down hard backstage, hit her face on the floor. They took her out, they rehydrated her, they gave her IV bags of saline and vitamins and minerals and stuff, and she came back later to the night show to watch the night show. And she was like, oh, no, I'm going to rally and I'll be back on stage next weekend at the Delaware. We were like, what the fuck? You almost died. Like, your quads are cramped. Next thing that cramps is your fucking abdominal region and your heart, and you're dead. You barely escaped death, but you're going to give it another shot. You're going to go on that carousel and give it the old fucking brass ring, try it next week again. You know, but that's their decision. That's what they do. I mean, you can't, you know, some people think it's absolutely stupid, but these people think it's absolutely stupid if you sit on a couch and watch TV. They think it's absolutely stupid if you work a job in an office. You know, like, it's all a matter of opinion and what their reality is and what your reality is. So, you know, people are like, oh, it's such a tragedy. This girl died. This girl died doing what she wanted to do. Why is that such a tragedy? She chose to do it. She took her life in her own hands and chose to do it. Just like when someone commits suicide, they choose to do that. They take their life in their own hands and they make the decision for themselves, which a lot of people don't get to do that. You know, they randomly fucking get killed here and there. So you kind of look at it and go, you took control of your own destiny and did exactly what you wanted to do. You paid the ultimate price. Is there anything sad in that? What's sad is left behind. Her kids, that's sad. Her husband, that's sad. Her friends and family, that's sad. But for her, it was like an ultimate win. For Anthony, it was an ultimate win. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people should go out there and kill themselves for a contest, but bottom line is, if there's something you want that bad, something that's in your veins, something that's more, that makes you who you are, and that's what it is, who are we to judge what's tragic and bad in a loss for that person? Bios3training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is a blog. It's the We Can't Choose Bicep, and we're out.